You just figured that out? How to host from... I definitely have to edit her entrance. I don't know why. I edited her entrance, and it didn't show up here, so I might have to... I might have to go in and figure that out. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll fix that. Oh, there's the timer there. Well, that's right. You've had Twitch for a while, but you were like a Mixer guy, so that kind of explains why you may not be too familiar with how everything works. It takes a little bit. I know for me, when I moved to Mixer for a while, it took me a little bit to figure out everything. So we have a new ring here. Well, a new look to the ring. Anyway, I went ahead, I think it was last night, I went ahead and I put some of the EFEDs that that I watch as part of this wrestling community that I have going with Sakite and Young Sin, Deftest Violator, and Natalia, and all of them. We all love wrestling, so we all try and help each other. And so I was like, you know, because normally all it said was RCW. That's all it said in here. It was just the RCW right in the middle of the ring, and I was like, I want to make it a little bit more fancy. So I went ahead and I just added stuff, and I put the logos in the corners, and I put EFED funded in there, and yeah. We got some signings that we got some new wrestlers coming in, but I won't tell you because I don't want to give anything away, as we have a mystery opponent tonight here for Zero, as Zero turned over a new leaf, I guess. After attacking Cedric Alexander after his win. So we should see who that mystery opponent is. Come in our main event. That'll be in our main event tonight. I can tell you, it feels like a breath of fresh air to be back on the Twitch side of things. Because honestly, the one thing that I missed was thinking you could face the bottom two logos. What do you mean, the EWL one and the AFK one? Well, they're not upside down, they're just cornered in the corner there. Is Alexa Bliss just launched Ariel into the ring post. Yeah, the EWL one, it's just angled in the corner, because that's... Because that's the way the, that's the way the camera has it anyway. But I could easily fix that too. I could easily go in and fix it. As Alexa Bliss took out the referee, I don't think that was part of the plan there. Now, speaking of Alexa Bliss, I had seen this, it was this video on Twitter where this guy had, this fan anyway, had asked her out or whatever, and she responded to it. And her response to it was like the kindest, sweetest response ever. Like, I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. I forget who she is with at the moment, but as Luna distracts the referee here, but I thought it was one of the greatest, like, experiences for that person in particular. I mean, she couldn't have been more kind about it. I thought it was the cutest thing. I always like seeing things like that, seeing things that how wrestlers interact with fans, whether it be on social media, because it's always a fun time to like kind of just see, like, whether it be good reactions or like, or a wrestler is telling like a troll off or something like that, whether it be a bad reaction or a good one. Like, some will say that social media has ruined wrestling, others will say otherwise, but I personally think it's got its good and bad. Just like with anything. There's a code blue knee strike here onto Alexa Bliss, but a rope break saves her. And she's looking to do it again, a second time here. And second time's the charm, but no Alexa Bliss though. Rolls her up though. Rolls her up and he gets her off of the botched knee strike, and Alexa Bliss took advantage of that, rolled her up, and got the win. Wow. Even Luna couldn't help her out there. As Alexa Bliss got the victory with a roll-up. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen the AI do that before. I've never seen the AI like reverse a finisher and then try for a pin after that. That was pretty good. As we move on to our next match here, let's go over to the break screen. And there's Sakite's link there to his Twitch. Make sure you check him out. Today is Thursday, so he should be live tonight for, I believe, the Epic Wrestling League. His EFED, so I'll be there. I'll be there in his chat. I believe that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually goes live around 7 to 8. So, make sure you check him out. I probably should add him to the bot in my Discord, because I have a bot that lets you know when I go live. But you can also add it so that you let other people know when your friends go live. And I feel like we always support each other, and we try and support each other in the right way. Because there's a right way and there's a wrong way of doing it. And I think there's a couple of misconceptions that a lot of people may have. When it comes to what's considered good support and what's considered bad support. We have Jason Outlaw and Brian Outlaw coming out here. I officially made them a tag team in the universe with all of them, so, every time that they, one of them comes out, they'll be coming out together. So you haven't seen Jason Outlaw here in a while. As the Outlaw brothers were former RCW Tag Team Champions. Very good ones. Had quite the reign for a while. As now we have the Disciples coming out here in Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins, the RCW Tag Team Champions. Now these guys got a victory over the Young Bucks, a surprising victory over the Young Bucks there. But Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali were able to get a victory over them, so there might be a title shot in the future for them. We have Jason Outlaw and Buddy Murphy as Jason starts off with the Enziguri. Irish whip into the corner as Buddy Murphy and Jason going back and forth here. Both men going back and forth in a Hurricane Rana there to Jason. Snapmare takedown there from Buddy Murphy and a kick to the back there. That knee drop there from Buddy Murphy. A little bit of a taste of his own medicine there as Jason followed up with a knee drop of his own there. Irish whip into the ropes now and a spine buster. Buddy Murphy. Now, this was brought to my attention by Sakite, as he likes to do this here, as a boot in the corner. Another one there. And the third one. So, what I thought about doing is, like, later on in the night, like, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time. thought about possibly doing a like rerun where you guys can see the stream from later today. Even though that there's VODs there, you guys can see the stream either whenever you feel like or later in the day, so in case any of you miss it. You'll have another opportunity to watch it, but also that'll be when I actually like go in and I edit the stream for the YouTube side of things, and that usually takes me about a day or two to get it up on the YouTube channel. And so it'll just give you another chance to check out the stream and to see how things are rolling. They have a DDT to Buddy Murphy there, and Seth Rollins trying to distract Jason there, but boy, what just happened? I think Seth Rollins just got literally booted off of the apron from that chair that the referee just threw. And I think Seth Rollins is down for a little bit. Yeah, he was down after that shot off of the apron. Now, Buddy Murphy helped Seth Rollins get a win, but Seth Rollins is not really doing much to return the favor here. And just as I say that, there's another distraction. Seth Rollins got to be careful here. He could be thrown out. There's now Buddy Murphy going after Jason now, as these two are on the outside, and a pop-up knee strike there. Tried for a drop kick. Jason got out of the way. Yeah, I think this is how we're going to keep the ring. I really like how the ring looks now compared to it just kind of looking plain before. Well, the arenas still kind of look cool, but having the different E-feds on in the ring kind of give it a little bit more pop a little bit. Seth Rollins seems to be the only one that's carrying here. Bryan hasn't really done much to distract Buddy Murphy, but maybe it's because he doesn't need it in a DDT again to Buddy Murphy. And Seth Rollins distracting the referee. Maybe that's why Jason decided not to go for that cover, knowing that was going to happen. And a German suplex to Jason there. And these little tiny little distractions are definitely coming in handy for both men here. And Jason now looking to get a running start for this VR knee strike onto Buddy Murphy. You got to get a running start with that one, and he got all of that is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins drags the referee out of the ring. And the referee's having none of it as he throws him out. Seth Rollins is now ejected from ringside. To be fair, I don't think I've ever seen Brian Outlaw get ejected in the history of RCW happening. I don't think I've ever seen him get kicked out from ringside. But maybe it's because Jason has been dominant in this match and hasn't needed the distraction. As now Jason looking for another VR knee strike here and connects again with the VR knee strike right onto Buddy Murphy. And Buddy Murphy got the shoulder up at 2.5. Somehow Buddy Murphy's still fighting. But he doesn't have the Messiah, Seth Rollins, at ringside anymore. Buddy Murphy now with a DDT on the apron to Jason. Just like that, Buddy Murphy comes back. What, is Buddy Murphy leaving now? I think Buddy Murphy is walking out of this. I think he was just about to leave. Good thing we got a count of 20 here, but I think Buddy Murphy was just about to say F this match and leave. And Jason's definitely not gonna let Buddy Murphy do that. Buddy Murphy is a little bit frustrated. Perhaps because he does not have the disciple Seth Rollins helping him at ringside. As now these two get back in the ring now, and now possibly looking for a DDT again, and Buddy Murphy saw that one coming. As he drops Jason, and now Brian distracting the referee. And he did. He distracted the referee enough trying to get that turnbuckle. But he may need a little bit more help. As Buddy Murphy is looking for Murphy's Law. And now Brian having his first couple distractions here, helping out Jason. A little bit of a payback here, but Buddy Murphy tried for his comeback, but he's not going to get it as a kick to the back of the neck there. Well, Buddy Murphy gets right back up from that comeback and tries to suplex Jason, and he lands on his feet. He lands on his feet. And he's running in a VR knee strike to Buddy Murphy again. And Jason finally gets the victory over Buddy Murphy. Multiple distractions from both sides, but Jason finally gets the victory here over Buddy Murphy. And I mean, you could say a little bit of an assist from Brian Outlaw, but Seth Rollins was doing the same exact thing. So call it even. As we move on to our next match, as we go over to the break screen. As we have now Darby Allin versus Chris Danger. Now Darby Allin is the RCW Carnage Champion here. And Chris Danger got a victory over Tommaso Ciampa last episode. So, you know, he's been climbing up the rankings. And Darby Allin is one of those guys that's not afraid to fight. And he won't back down from one either. Let's get to this match, folks, as we have Darby Allin and Chris Danger. Here we go. As we have Darby Allin making his way to the ring first. The RCW Carnage Champion, Darby Allin. This kid is something else. After taking out Shawn Winters in a match that no one expected him to win. You could basically call it a copy of the David and Goliath story. But he won that match, and he retained his title against AJ Styles. But at our next pay-per-view, he will have to do the same, as under RCW rules, all titles must be defended at pay-per-views, but the champions can choose whether or not they want to put their titles on the line at any time. As Chris Danger comes out here. Now, Chris Danger, the internet darling of professional wrestling, he has been all over promotion to promotion. And we got him here in RCW under an agreement that he wanted to work with the Outlaws, and then he turned his back on the Outlaws and aligned himself with the now released Rogue family. But now Chris Danger must face perhaps his toughest opponent yet in Darby Allin. So we are underway here in a Meteora, pop-up Meteora here from Chris Danger onto the champion. Now going right after the champion with a couple of fists to the face. And drop kick there to Chris Danger. Darby Allin looking to bounce back in this match early on in a Hurricane Rana. Sends down the challenger here. Now this is not for the title. The title is not on the line here, but we could see these two face off in the future. Chris Danger can come out with a victory and a stunner. On to Darby Allin and a kick out at 1. On Darby Allin. Darby Allin sent in the corner and tried for some type of shoulder tackle in the corner, but is met. The shoulder was met with turnbuckle and a reversal enziguri, and now a flurry of strikes here. To Chris Danger, standing switch and a kick to the hamstring there. Now looking for GTS. They go to sleep on Darby Allin. Not going for the cover though. I don't know how wise that is, but he's got Darby Allin up. And drops the back of the head on the knee. And a Philly special knee strike there from Chris Danger onto Darby Allin, and Darby Allin's in trouble, but a kick out at 2. And now just Chris Danger working away here on Darby Allin. There's a couple of shots to the midsection of Chris Danger and a sunset flip powerbomb there. Just like that. And only a count of 1. I wasn't sure what Darby Allin was expecting there, but maybe a longer count. As he's going after the face of Chris Danger here with these multiple punches. Tries for it again, but a jawbreaker from Chris Danger. But a reversal from Darby and a drop kick. Darby knows what he's doing. But a jumping knee strike here from the... Oh no, this may spell bad here for Darby Allin as Chris Danger. Scott Darby Allin. Chris Danger with a Hurricane Rana from the top. Now some sort of epic stare down. To the motionless Darby Allin. Now the kicks to the chest trying to take the air out of Darby Allin. He's going to be unable to do any of that acrobatic stuff if he can't breathe, as Chris Danger is going to line him up. Trying for sweet chin music, and he connects with the sweet chin music, looking to get the win here over the champion here, and Darby Allin kicks out at 2. Like I said, this is Chris Danger's toughest opponent. Simply because Darby Allin refuses to give up. And we've seen that in his match against both AJ Styles and Shawn Winters. Now imagine if that match actually ended up being a triple threat. Then Darby Allin would definitely have the odds against him there. But Darby Allin's probably used to that as a kick out at 1. It's Darby Allin now with a flurry of strikes to Chris Danger as he sends Chris Danger to the canvas. Right under that BCW logo. Make sure to check that out. A Young Sin's Twitch and a Sunset Flip Powerbomb 1, 2, and a kick out. Now Darby Allin's looking to finish this one with a stunner on Chris. A huge stunner on Chris. And a kick out at 2. Perhaps Darby Allin misjudged Chris Danger here, as he tried for that Philly special knee strike again, but Darby Allin gets met with a code breaker instead. Now, Chris Danger with a comeback after that drop kick there. And Chris Danger is right back in the driver's seat. Looking for the Philly special knee strike again, and a huge arm drag saves Darby Allin from that. As Chris Danger dropped him with a Uranagi, and a count of 2. Now just looking to stomp a mud hole into Darby Allin. Looking for that Philly special knee strike again. And unfortunately for Chris, again, Darby Allin gets out of the way. It seems to be a back and forth match, but one move in this match could easily be over. Whether it be for Darby Allin or Chris Danger. One match, or one move, excuse me, and this could all be over. As Darby Allin looks for something dangerous there, but Chris is looking for something dangerous of his own. And a DDT on the apron, and that busted Darby Allin wide open. That busted Darby Allin wide open. That's not going to help the face paint. But Darby Allin still has fight in him. He still has that fight in him, and he's looking to throw Chris to the outside. As Darby Allin throws caution to the wind, and he takes down Chris Danger. On the outside. And the crowd is loving it. But both men seem to be completely fine and back on their feet. Despite Chris taking a lot of punishment, taking that full punishment of that move. And now Chris is busted open. Both men bleeding. As a sunset flip powerbomb again. There's Darby Allin trying to go for the cover now. 1, 2, and a kick out. Now, I don't know what's it going to take here for any of these men to stay down. Is Chris Danger looking for the sharpshooter? Looking for the sharpshooter. Looking to get Darby Allin to tap here. He's been working on the back all day long. Darby Allin in huge trouble here. But Darby Allin finds a way out. And if I'm being honest, this match has gotten to the point where maybe it's not about winning anymore. These guys may have to have a blood transfusion after this. The amount of blood that these two have been losing. It's just not normal for a wrestling match. As Darby Allin continues to go after the forehead of Chris Danger. Shot after shot after shot. Now looking for that sunset flip powerbomb again into the pin combination. 1, 2, and Chris kicked out. But Darby Allin's looking to end this with one more stunner. 1, 2, and Chris kicked out of that one. But Darby Allin has another one loaded for him. Darby Allin's got it. Darby Allin again with the stunner. And Darby Allin defeats Chris Danger. But not without losing a little bit or a lot of it in blood. But if this doesn't give you a reason to be scared of Darby Allin when the title is actually on the line, then I don't know what does. As Darby Allin is your winner. As we have Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre for our next match here. Now, Drew McIntyre has had a couple run-ins with Jon Moxley, especially in that Hell in a Cell match at RCW Recoil, which ended fairly quickly for Drew McIntyre. I expected, at least the cell wall to be broken and those men to be just absolutely beaten to a pulp, but Drew McIntyre ended it in possibly the quickest fashion I have ever seen ever in a Hell in a Cell match. As we have Keith Lee making his way out here. Limitless Keith Lee. Now Keith Lee has had a couple run-ins with Tommaso Ciampa, and there's no telling whether Tommaso Ciampa has forgotten about it or if he's going to plot an attack tonight. But Keith Lee will have to face the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre. But no one makes it out of Claymore country alive as Drew McIntyre comes out here. Will Keith Lee be one of the first to enter Claymore country and leave? We'll find out in just a few moments here as the Scottish psychopath. In the past, he's had broken dreams, but now he is the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. You could possibly be looking at a future RCW World Champion. Forget the Carnage title. I see RCW World Champion when I look at someone like Drew. Keith Lee, the same way. He is RCW World Championship material in every match here on RCW Matters. So this could be for a future title shot, who knows? As Drew McIntyre tried to clothesline Keith Lee, and good luck with that as a powerbomb to Drew McIntyre. And a count of 1. Good luck trying to take down the big man in Keith Lee. Both of these men are big in stature. Obviously, Drew McIntyre may have a couple height inches on Keith Lee, but I say the power goes to Keith Lee. As Keith Lee runs in looking for a splash to Drew McIntyre, as Drew McIntyre somehow gets the clothesline to Keith Lee to the outside. As now Drew McIntyre has to wear down Keith Lee, though. He's got to take out all the strength, all the power within Keith Lee. Whether it's will or physical strength, you got to take all of it out. As the referee continues his count. As the RCW Universe not very fond of Drew McIntyre here, and My God, Keith Lee with a top rope moonsault. Keith Lee, a man of his size, should not be able to do that. He is defying the laws of physics here. But that doesn't matter. Keith Lee is willing to do anything, and that goes for Drew McIntyre as well, as he's got Keith Lee up in the fireman's carry and drops Keith Lee just like that into a cover. 1, 2, and Keith Lee with a kick out. Now, lifting up Keith Lee from that gut wrench there and a power bomb. Now, if I were Keith Lee, I'd try to work on the back of Drew McIntyre. That way he's not able to pick you up. As Drew McIntyre gets thrown down with that powerbomb. When I said work on the back, maybe Keith Lee is hearing me here. Because I think if Keith Lee is able to wear down Drew McIntyre so much, perhaps Keith Lee could have this all but one, as he's looking for that powerbomb again to Drew McIntyre. 2 and a kick out. Keith Lee is absolutely manhandling Drew McIntyre. I have never seen the Scottish Psychopath be just manhandled in this way. But Drew McIntyre now. Drew McIntyre looking to fire back with a forearm in the corner. The running forearm in the corner. It's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre with a couple of right hands. Right hands to Keith Lee. This match is a main event within itself, but our main event is still to come. Former RCW World Champion Zero issued an open challenge to anyone. And we'll find out who that is. Coming our main event is a kick out of 2 from Drew McIntyre. I don't know if he got that shoulder up though. But our referee has been known to make mistakes. Is Keith Lee looking to end this one with a powerbomb to Drew McIntyre into a pin. 1, 2, and Drew McIntyre got the shoulder up. Drew McIntyre got the shoulder up at 2. But now Drew McIntyre's in huge trouble here. It's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's gonna have to bask in Keith Lee's glory. 1, 2, and Drew again kicked out. Keith Lee has no idea what to do now. It's Drew McIntyre somehow coming back. He's coming back with that air raid siren onto Keith Lee. I don't even know how Drew's standing. There's no way. I don't think I've ever seen Drew McIntyre or anybody kick out of that move from Keith Lee. And Drew McIntyre is looking to take Keith Lee to Claymore Country with a Claymore kick. Claymore kick onto Keith Lee. 1, 2, and Keith Lee kicked out of the Claymore. Keith Lee kicked out of the Claymore. My God. This match, like I said, could be a main event within itself. I don't know what's it gonna take here. I have no idea. One of these men, to be honest, could be walking out in a body bag after this one's over. Because at this rate, it doesn't look like these two are stopping anytime soon. There's Drew McIntyre working on the arm. A couple of shots to the midsection from Keith Lee here. Keith Lee now. Keith Lee lifting him up for another powerbomb. And Drew McIntyre again with the kick out. My God. This is main event worthy. As the referee begins the count here. As Drew McIntyre just tosses Keith Lee. A man that size should not be able to be tossed around like that. But, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, my God. Right into the ring post. Maybe RCW has just become Claymore country. Who knows? But Keith Lee refuses to go down as he ascends to the top, and he drops himself onto Drew McIntyre. I don't know if he got all of it, but he got most. And then bask in his glory as Drew McIntyre may be looking for a Lazaro. Drew kicked out at 2. But that just fired up Keith Lee. That just fired up Keith Lee, but Drew McIntyre put a stop to it. Drew McIntyre put a stop to it. Now looking for Future Shock. Looking for Future Shock DDT, but Keith Lee with a reversal. But again, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre tried for the big boot, but is met with a German suplex. Now Keith Lee, Keith Lee tried to go for that powerbomb one more time, but Drew McIntyre with a reversal. Looking to get the win here, 1, 2, and Keith Lee kicked out. But it made me night-night for Keith Lee. Future Shock DDT. 1, 2, and Keith Lee kicked out of the Future Shock DDT. Keith Lee. This match is straight up flames right now. I don't even know how either of these two are breathing. This is ridiculous. I don't even know how none of them have been busted open yet. As Keith Lee looks to get Drew McIntyre in that bear hug, but lets him go. He lets him go. As Drew McIntyre gets Keith Lee right back up. Keith Lee with a right hand. Keith Lee tried for a kick, but no. Stopping Drew McIntyre with the STO. The STO. As now, Keith Lee's got him up for that powerbomb one more time. Both men are tired. Especially Keith Lee. You can see the sweat on his back. It's Drew McIntyre with a reversal though. Getting out of dodge. There's nowhere to go for Keith Lee here. 3, 2, 1, Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3, and Drew McIntyre battles back for the victory. What a match. Drew McIntyre. Boom. 1 Claymore kick wasn't enough. I believe that was 3. Maybe 2, I could be wrong. But Drew McIntyre is victorious. My God, what a match, but let's get to our main event right away. As we have our main event, a mystery opponent will face Zero. Now, if he had the title, he probably would make it for the title. But we saw Zero turn over a new leaf after attacking Cedric Alexander after he made his return last episode. So maybe Zero is done giving handouts. Now, the Zero that I know, he welcomed anybody. But now for some reason, not so much anymore. Not so much. Let's see who his opponent is. Oh my! It is Young Sin! Young Sin has finally made his debut here in RCW, and he will be facing Zero. What a debut match here. You know, it hasn't even begun yet, but to face a former RCW champion, that's something. In your debut match, Young Sin looks more ready than he's ever been. As he looks to face this man, Zero. Now, like I said, I don't know why Zero did what he did, and I'm pretty sure we're not gonna get an explanation. Because that's how things kind of roll around here. When somebody attacks somebody, they really don't want to give an explanation. They have a reason why, they just don't verbalize it. They just don't say it. As we get this match underway, folks, Zero and Young Sin. Here we go. Now, Young Sin, very quick on his feet. He's had some history in the EWL, the Epic Wrestling League. Managed by Sakite. He's had some history with Jason Outlaw losing in 4 seconds. And I'm pretty sure Young Sin wants to forget that. But, you know, now that he is in RCW, you know, maybe we see a reunion. You know, it was nothing personal between him and the Outlaws. You know, they don't like to make anything personal unless stuff gets personal. And Young Sin throwing caution to the wind here already in this match. And not letting Zero take a rest. And you know, we also have the Blackwell family, who are in the EWL as well. And, you know, I don't know. Maybe they make their presence known in RCW. Maybe they don't. But the Outlaws had one common enemy there with Young Sin. And it was the Outlaw family in their time in the EWL, and a German suplex to Zero. And Young Sin is impressing everyone here in the RCW crowd. Young Sin is just taking it to the former champion. Maybe Zero, you know, maybe second guessing himself on this decision to take on anybody. As Zero gets sent into the ring post. Now a count of 20 here as Young Sin is using that full advantage, but Zero coming back. Zero now drops Young Sin onto the apron. And Young Sin's just tossing Zero. Count of 11. $13 here. Young Sin and Zero need to be mindful of this. Count of 15. 16 as Young Sin rolls out to break that count. I doubt he wants his first victory to be via countout. What's this? It's Bryce Blackwell. That's Bryce. That's Bryce Blackwell. Helping out Young Sin. And Young Sin almost got the victory off of the distraction and a spine buster. What? Bryce Blackwell is in the corner of Young Sin. What a weird turn of events here. I was just mentioning the Blackwells and how Young Sin and the Outlaws had a common enemy in them. But now the Blackwells all of a sudden are somehow in the corner of Young Sin. Maybe this is mind games from the Blackwell family. Maybe they want to think for Young Sin that they are on the side of Young Sin. I don't know. That would be my guess. I mean, maybe the executive advisor Sakite ordered them to be out here. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to talk with him after the stream. I don't know. That'll be a discussion. As the sinister switch on 0, 1, 2, and 0 with the kick out. As he's looking at Bryce Blackwell. Now tried to super kick Bryce. And now a clothesline to Bryce Blackwell. A clothesline as he gets right back up. And now going after Bryce Blackwell. Going after Bryce Blackwell, which gives 0. The advantage at the moment. This gives 0 everything that he wants. And 0's going up. 0's looking for 0 tolerance, but an elbow drop instead. I thought he may be going for 0 tolerance, but thought against it. Possibly gonna go for it. Now as he's got it, he may have it here. 0 tolerance on the Young Sin. It may be over for Sin here. But Bryce Blackwell is helping out Young Sin by distracting the referee. He's helping him out here by distracting the ref. As he slips out of that submission hold from 0. Young Sin drops 0, busting him wide open. He busted him wide open. Now looking for that sinister switch. The sinister switch. Looking right at Bryce Blackwell as he goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and Young Sin. What a debut. What a debut for Young Sin. But what is this? What the hell is Bryce doing out here? Bryce was in the corner of Young Sin. He distracted the referee for Young Sin. But Young Sin knows the games, as Bryce Blackwell and Young Sin look like they're a bunch of friends. Are we just gonna act like that whatever happened in this didn't happen? Maybe it's a sense of falsehood here. Maybe Young Sin is trying to turn the tables here on the Blackwell family. Maybe this is all a ruse for the Blackwells. But who knows? But that is our show, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It was amazing. I had a fun time. Being welcomed back here on Twitch from open arms, it has been great. It has been fun. I'm excited. We're back in the original home. We have Young Sin. We have the Blackwells now. We have so many more surprises coming along the way for you guys. I also recorded some YouTube videos today for the YouTube side of things. I always like to do that either before stream or after stream. And I did that before stream today and was able to get some YouTube videos out to you guys. So I'll have those edited. But you can check out my YouTube right there. There's the YouTube command right there. And I so miss all of these, honestly. Honest to God. I've missed having my commands just right there for you. So there's the links right there. Here's another link to my Twitter for the Angle Podcast. So there's a couple links there for you to reach me. Discord is the best way for you to reach me off stream. I'm in there a lot. I'm a part of many different Discord servers. It's much easier to reach me there than any other place. My website there, you can access that, and that has pretty much all of my content on it, including RCW, and we'll definitely be getting Young Sin and Bryce Blackwell and whoever else happens to join us here on RCW. We'll be putting them on the roster page. You can gain access to a gallery with screenshots of our favorite superstars celebrating their biggest moments here in the universe. And I'm just happy to have all of you along for the ride here. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. Let's find somebody to raid here. Let's find somebody to raid. Since now we can do that now. Since now I'm back on Twitch and we can actually do it now. Let's find somebody to raid. See, my buddy Slev86 right here, my buddy. Wow. He is streaming Sea of Thieves. He's trying for that partner push for Sea of Thieves partner. He's also trying for Twitch partner as well. So let's get him there. Let's get him there. As we are going to raid my good friend, Slev86. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and enjoy Slev86 and his weirdness. That's not an insult, that's a compliment. Here on Sea of Thieves.